Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the post news from today's newspaper front page Dawn. Row over firms claims about Sharif's bribe offer. Broadcast sheet Musavi says he met an individual named Anjum Dar twice who said Damas denies any offer by Atika Rahman. London Broadsheet LLC owner Kaveh Musavi's allegations that the Sharif family approached him with a bribe has made a splash in the media as the state-owned news agency Associated Press of Pakistan ran a headline based on the liar's claim in a video interview this week. Several newspapers carried this story and it became the focus of discussions on social media as well as talk shows. Among the allegations leveled against former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and the asset recovery firm's owner, Mr. Musavi claimed that a person who claimed to be associated with Mr. Sharif approached him in 2012 and offered a sum of money to drop the probe against him. Speaking to Dawn, Mr. Musavi repeated the allegations. He said, a gentleman named Anjam Dar purporting to be Nawaz Sharif's nephew turned up in 2012. I met him twice, once in Canterbury and then in London. He said the individual offered him $25 million. He showed me a picture of him hugging Nawaz Sharif at home after sitting with him. He produced a tape recording as well. It was in Urdu, so I did not know what it was saying. In response to a question about whether he considered the offer, Mr. Musavi said, when we realized that he was basically offering some money for us to go away, my response was that any money being offered should come by way of liars in the arbitration. When asked why he did not report the development to authorities in the United Kingdom or to the court-appointed arbitrator, he said, I certainly discussed it with lawyers, but we decided not to take it up with the authorities. He did not elaborate on why, but when asked who the gentleman is, he said to ask the Sharif family. On the question of why the Sharifs or their representatives would offer him bribe in 2012, many years after his asset recovery contract with the government had ended in 2003. Mr. Musavi said, we were in arbitration and the arbitrator would have to probe into the whole issue. They didn't want that to come up. Commenting on the development, Mr. Sharif's son, Hussein Nawaz, told Dawn, this is absolutely not true. We have no relative named Anjum Dar. If an individual claiming such a thing had come to him, Musawi was in a difficult for his investigative company to determine who he is before making such an allegation. He added Nawaz Sharif has two brothers and one sister, and all of their children's names are in the public domain. Is Mr. Musavi such a poor investigator that he wasn't able to determine this? A simple fact, even after 9 years, in an interview aired this week, the broadsheet owner made corruption allegations against the sheriffs and offered his services to the Pakistan government to hire his company to investigate the family's properties in Avonfield House. The government does not appear to be interested in this offer and is reeling from the recent forced payment of nearly $29 million to Broadsheet LLC after a court order. In another startling claim during the video interview, Mr. Mosavi also alleged that an individual he met with accountability advisor Shahzad Akbar was more interested in getting his cut than in investigating suspects. There was a delegation that came to London in 2018 to discuss with the National Crime Agency money that had been frozen under the Unexplained Wealth Order. At that time, I was asked to meet, and I did meet at Cafe Rogue in North London, a gentleman who had all the documents. We said, fine, we will forget about the money you owe us on the judgment. Let's work together. They were skeptical. Then I said, I know of an account that has $1 billion. They wanted to know what is our cut. The broadsheet owner said Mr. Akbar may not have been aware of this individual's question about a commission. He also said a man who said he was a general met with him at the time, but that he did not reveal his name. A day earlier, Mr. Akbar told his correspondent the government was not interested in a broadsheet LLC services as it had skimmed Pakistan without giving anything. Broadsheet LLC, a company incorporated in the Isle of Man in 2000, was hired by elements in the Musharraf government the same year to probe and retrieve the alleged foreign assets of politicians and businessmen in Pakistan. According to its owner, the Sharif family was a major target of the government and that he later expanded his search to launch 200 targets and their suspected overseas properties. Mursavi named Sherpao. In his earlier interview, Mr. Mursavi alleged that though the Musharraf government had engaged his firm to probe certain individuals, it later requested that Broadsheet LLC drop some names from their investigation. He had hinted that one such request was made about a man who was later appointed Interior Minister for Musharraf. It was Sherpao, he alleged, referring to Aftab Ahmad Khan Sherpao, who served as a minister in 2004. And in the end, the formal request, if you have not yet, to please subscribe to the channel and press the bell button to get the fresh from us. Thank you for watching. Have a nice time. Goodbye.